Today, I'm going to be answering many of Albion Online's most asked questions. Let's get into it. This is going to be a very quick rapid-fire session. What should new players do? They should go onto the tutorial and do 3 or more characters, and in the tutorial, gather 150,000 worth of rough stone so that they have a nice starting salary, and then make guilds so they can make guild islands and tier 3 guild halls with gamekeeper laborers, and then they should skin animals if they need silver, and farm open world mobs for fame, and then they can do whatever they want. What is the best weapon for dungeons? It's boltcasters, but why? Because it's the highest DPS without any spec. What's the most optimal way to gather? You should always use a full gathering set, only gather one resource, eat a pork pie, stay in tier 4 zones, and be faction flagged. I didn't put it on the screen, so people that don't have me muted, there you go. Why not build above tier 3 housing? Because laborers are no longer worth selling, refining is now controlled by the cartels, and if it isn't as of the posting of this video, it will be soon, and housing costs take too damn long to break even for most people's attention spans. I'm talking 30 to 80 days. How do I solo group dungeons? Well, you need a Hellion Jacket, a nice AoE weapon, and a pork roast for lifesteal. You also need high spec or high grade equipment. Which gathering profession makes the most silver? Skinning. But why? Because when you skin animals, they have a chance to drop a baby if you skin the right animals, and you can gather more of them up, and with a certain method, you can one-shot them. Are dungeons or dungeon maps worth doing? Absolutely not. Do not waste your money running dungeon maps. Do not waste your time running dungeons. There are far better ways to make silver, and way, way better ways to make fame, okay? If you farm open world mobs compared to just farming a tier 5 yellow zone, open world mobs in a tier 5 yellow zone will give you 6 times the amount of fame and about half as much silver. So it's up to you what you want to do. Can I make a new character that gets the 3 days of premium and then use that to water crops? Nope, it has been patched and it has been patched for quite a while. Is this game worth playing? Well, if you have nothing else to do or there's nothing going on in your life, why not? What do you got to lose? What's the best build to use in Arena? It's the one-handed dagger. But why? Because it destroys healers and it's great for 1v1s. How much do gatherers make in a tier 4 blue zone? Even the worst gathering professions, which is fishing and stone mining, make over 1 million per hour. What's the most fun thing to do in Albion Online? For me, it's ganking yellow zones in full 8.4 gear because I'm massively overpowering everyone else, and when I down them, they don't lose their loot, they don't get to go back to town and continue playing, they have to sit there for 3 entire minutes, unable to do anything at all before they're allowed to play again. What's the fastest clearing corrupted dungeon build? It's Bear Paws, that is the current world record. Is Siphoned Energy still a good investment? Nope. Because the mists came out, everyone has easy access to Favor, which means easy access to Siphoned Energy. The price will continue to go down over time. What's the best faction to join? Bridgewatch. But why? Because they win, they have the most people, they are the most organized, and their mount gives you the power to chase down and kill transports. Can I solo a faction outpost? Yes you can, unless it's Limhurst, because the boar will bleed you, and you will be debuffed where your heals won't be as efficient. What's the fastest solo dungeon build at maximum spec? It's Light Crossbow and Spectre Jacket, but it's only about 14 to 17 seconds faster than Boltcasters. Can I beat an 8.3 dungeon in 4.1 gear? Yes, as long as it's a solo dungeon. If it's a group dungeon, no, you can't. Can I solo an aspect? Yes, you can solo an aspect, but usually guilds will spot you and then kill you before you finish it off. What is the one weapon that counters most builds? The Bow of Badon. What is the best weapon to dismount other players? It is the Bear Paws. It used to be the Permafrost Prism, but they removed the Q2 spell, which was a homing Frostbolt attack. Because of that, it's so much harder to dismount people now. What is the fastest way to level gathering? This is for solo players. If you're in a guild, obviously it's aspects, but for solo players, it's tier 4 blue zones. But why? Because they have fast respawns, it is 100% safe, and it has the lowest population of players, meaning you can have entire zones to yourself sometimes. Where is the best place to fish? Saltwater, because of the fish you can catch. Otherwise, the mists are great because there's tons of fish pools and you can catch Avalonian fish. What is the best scaling weapon in the game with item power? The answer is the Warlock Tree, which is the Cursed Staff, the Shadow Collar, the Demonic Staff, all of those. What is the fastest way to fame farm? Soloing static dungeon mobs, tier 4 and tier 5 are 20 million plus per hour. This applies to solo players who do not have a guild. I do not know the fastest way if you have a large giant guild helping you out, or if you do hardcore expeditions, or Crystal League, those are also probably really good too. What is the best jack of all trades weapon? That is the Bear Paws, because it is great in PvE, PvP, for gathering, ganking, it's great for mobility, it's overall super useful in almost every situation. You will be at a somewhat advantage. However, there's another jack of all weapons trade weapon, the Spear, which is decent in most situations, but Bear Paws has it beat. As a matter of fact, the #1 YouTuber that uses spears even showcases himself losing to Bear Paws. What is the worst way to make silver that a lot of people tend to do? That is faction heart transports. But why? Because you do not progress your character at all by doing these. You also lose a lot of silver if you are ganked compared to what you earn if you aren't. Is there a no-risk PvP activity that can make you money? Yes, faction warfare is great. All you might suffer is a small repair bill unless you go to the red zone. And ganking transport hearts is one of the better ways to make silver if you have the proper build for it. And as the ganker, you have no risk. If they somehow escape, it's just some time lost. If you get beat up, it's just a small repair bill. What is the fastest way to make silver for non-crafters? That would be making focus crafting alts, which is sadly on this channel is a members only channel secret. If you want to learn this secret, it is $5 a month. Click the join button down below. You'll get access to private, more personal videos. There's a playlist in the pinned comment. Check it out if you want, but only do it to support me. Don't do it for the method, because it'll probably be nerfed in the next few months. Who knows? Is gambling for artifacts profitable? No, most of the time it's not, but when you do hit it big, the time it takes to hit it big compared to what you're spending, it's just not worth the time. How fast can you beat the tutorial? The world record is around 8-ish minutes. I can do it, the fastest I've ever done is very close to like 8:59, 8:53, something like that. You still have to wait a minimum 15 minutes to leave off of Tutorial Island on the boat. Can you solo group dungeon bosses? Yes, you can, including legendary ones. However, the 5th floor boss is a little too difficult because they're kind of like semi-mini raid bosses, and there's a few other bosses that aren't really soloable due to self-healing, or they just go into crazy high DPS berserk mode and kill you before you can kill them. Should you be farming arcane essence from ghosts? No. They respawn too slowly, the zones are far too controlled, and they have been heavily nerfed from back in the day. They are no longer worth doing. Can I make good money if I just gather rough logs? You can make about 500,000 per hour doing it in, like, say, Limhurst or somewhere where there's lots of trees, but the real money is transporting it to Caerleon or Brasilian. What is a good time for soloing a floor in a dungeon? It's under 2 minutes. There are some tile sets that will take you 3 to 4 minutes, so beware. How much can I make spamming Royal Sigil dailies on alt characters? You can make around 200,000 to 300,000 per hour. This has been majorly nerfed from back in the day, so it's no longer worth doing. Should I use focus to refine? Absolutely not. There's many other activities in the game where you can spend focus to earn much more silver, unless your character is very hyper dedicated to just refining, and you're a member of the cartel, so you can not pay a fee, or you own a black zone hideout where you can refine instead. It's super not worth it. What's the best weapon to solo dungeons that are high tier, like tier 6, 7, and 8? The Nature Staff, because you have the self-healing, you have the consistent damage, so you can continue to move pack to pack without any need for rest, and you will cast less global cooldowns to kill the enemies than any other build. What's the best way to farm faction points if I don't want to do red zone PvP or sit in a miserable Discord and get screamed at? That would be soloing gatherers. Go out and gank some gatherers, and you will be put into the war effort, and because you're so deep into territory and you're doing it by yourself, you will earn tens of thousands of faction points every 30 minutes. What is the most powerful build to the cheapest cost ratio? As in, I want to deal as much damage as possible, but I want to pay as little silver as possible. That would be the light crossbow. How much fame do tier 5 yellow zone dungeons give? Over 3 million fame per hour if using a satchel and a speed clearing build, and using all of your combat fame credits earned to convert into weapon specialization, which is the lowest possible conversion. What do the majority of people think is the strongest weapon in the game? The Bloodletter, due to its mobility and its ability to execute other players. What is the most fun weapon in all of the game? The Carving Sword. It gives you mobility, it makes you feel like the anime main character. You can deflect anything, you can dart in and out of danger, you can run fast. It's an all-around very fun weapon, and it feels great, and it has the coolest animations, and it makes you feel like an absolute badass. What is the fastest way to earn premium as a new solo player? Doing high-risk transports to and from Caerleon. What is the hardest hitting attack in the entire game? The Boltcasters for PvE, and for PvP, the Energy Shaper. These are both crossbows, by the way. Why does Sandbox Interactive and Reddit hate soul binging? It's because I don't bend the knee to their narratives. I also trolled the hell out of Reddit, and I always talk smack. Should I manually level a weapon, or should I farm combat fame credits with a fast weapon and spend it on the weapon I want to level up? Which is faster? It is much faster to level a weapon by using a very fast and efficient PvE weapon to farm combat fame credits, then spend the combat fame credits on the weapon that you want to manually level up. Are hardcore expeditions worth doing? Well, they are gate-kept, so you have to bend the knee to a specific communistic narrative because the people that control the hardcore expedition Discord are into that kind of stuff. And as a YouTuber, they don't like YouTubers, so I don't know, I've actually never done one. How does loot in chests work? Where does the loot come from? Why does some of the loot say it's crafted by players when it's clearly in a chest? That is because it comes from the black market. In Caerleon, there is a black market you can sell items to, and when you sell items to this black market, it gets put in the pool of random items that can be dispersed throughout the game whenever someone opens a chest or kills a mob. What should I spend my learning points on? Crafting? PvP weapons? PvE weapons? You should spend your learning points on Gathering, because Gathering takes the longest to level up, and it will save you so much time if you just spend those learning points on leveling Gathering first. What should I do after getting Premium? You can set up islands, you can farm more efficiently, you will get more learning points each day. It's really whatever it is that you want to do. I suggest taking up farming, which leads to... What is the best crop to grow? And the answer is wheat. Tier 3 wheat has a great seed ratio where even if you don't water the wheat, you can still make a little bit of profit from it. So as far as money and time spent goes, wheat is by far the best, though most crops are very similar in profits. Carrots are also kind of unique in their own way as well. Albion Online? Albion Online? Albion Online? Albion Online? What's the current player count? It's estimated to be around 30 to 50,000 players. How long does it take for a solo dungeon to close after I enter one? Well, in the Black Zone, it takes 90 seconds. What are Black Hands? They were an old dagger weapon that was basically a pair of gloves that were the most overpowered broken things ever. They were the meta for Corrupted Dungeon. What is the best way to transfer silver between characters? Use a crafting stall on a guild island and give your alt characters co-owner permissions. What's a good time for soloing a group dungeon? 6 minutes and 15 seconds per floor, or 25 minutes for a 4-floor dungeon. What is the best 1v1 weapon? In my opinion, it's the druidic staff, but the majority of people say it's the battle axe. Can I join your guild, Swole Benji? Yeah, you can if you manage to pass the Discord quiz first, and then we play together for a while, sure. What is the fastest weapon to farm open world mobs? It is the Spiked Gauntlet because the E-spell does the most AoE cone damage. What is the best weapon for skinning? Well, if you're skinning in a safe zone without using an exploit, it's the Life Curse Staff, and if you are exploiting to one-shot the mobs, that is a members-only secret. What is the best weapon for fame farming? It is the Shadow Caller by farming static group mobs. What is the worst scaling weapons? Well, the staves are the worst scaling because they barely give any damage at all or crowd control duration. There's not a big point to level staves. Other than that, nature staffs are the worst scaling. Should I make alts with premium so I can have additional farmland and focus to make money every day? No. Why not? Because the cost of premium is now too high, you will not make your initial cost of investment back. How do I double my premium rewards? You can do this by having enough challenge points to unlock all of the rewards on the last day of the month, and then buy premium on the last day of the month, cash in, and then you will have 29 days to earn enough challenge points for the next month's rewards. What's a good rate of farming Brazilian rep? 50,000 per hour. Is it possible to move my island? Yes, you can move your island, just deconstruct and remove everything off of the island, then go to the island merchant and then disband your island. When you go to your new location for your island, you will not have to pay for upgrades once again. You will just simply pay the initial fee for your island, and it will be at the same upgrade level as when you disabled, disbanded, abandoned it. There you go. Well, that's it for now. 67 questions answered. What a random number. I'm Swole Benji. Thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like. I read every single comment, and I have a video every single day, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Join the Discord. Link is in the description. Let's get some group dungeons going. There's only like 30 people in the Discord, so go ahead and join it. And with that said, if you want to become a channel member, I talked about that earlier in the video, but if you want to, $5 a month, it's like subscribing on Twitch, but you get access to private, more personal videos. There's a playlist in the pinned comment. Go ahead and check that out as well. And I will see you in tomorrow's video. On screen right now, on the right side is the video you should absolutely click. Make sure you're subscribed, though, so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Take care, lads.